Dr. Debbie here. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great Monday. I am going to start on our topic for Monday Nights with Dr. Debbie. There have been some interesting headlines that have been taking place this past week that I thought I would actually open up and have a discussion about. I'm sure that all of you were paying attention yesterday or this past week to all of the events that took place last week with the camps on the border. Interestingly enough, I had gotten a hold of some pictures that Reuters actually took, and they released on a news article that I was so alarmed by these pictures that I posted the three that were most alarming, and it was amazing. The three pictures that I posted and on Twitter simply saying America has no idea what is happening at its borders ended up getting retweeted close to 23,000 times, and it received over 53,000 likes. My phone was buzzing like off the walls, and it still is. But it's fine because the point of my posting it was to get the attention of people and get people to understand the travesty that's actually happening at our borders. And just last week, there was also a vote the week before where Congress was voting, and unfortunately there were some congressional leaders that stood on the wrong side of the issue, and we absolutely made it known to them that they really need to look at this from a moral and ethical place and do the right thing by the people in the borders. And all I could think about after I saw those pictures was the innocent women and children and what they were experiencing, and the separation of these families, the unsanitary conditions of these camps, people getting sick, people are piled on top of each other, no place to breathe, no room, people are laying on floors, there's garbage everywhere, there's feces everywhere. That should not be a way a human being should be living anywhere. And the fact that our government is in a position to be able to make these camps more livable and a place of refuge is the call that we must make for people, congressional leaders. First and foremost, these camps need to be centers where people will find food, where people will be able to, stay together as a family, and be able to get processed to come into the United States or wherever for that matter. But what we are seeing right now, these camps are detrimental to the lives of human beings, and they should not remain open. And so I was really happy to see my tweet just go viral, and I'm so happy to see that people have continued to keep the conversation going on this issue, because that's what we need to do. We need to make our voices heard to congressional leaders and get them to do the right thing by our country to ensure the safety and security of people who are seeking refuge in the United States. Another issue I wanted to bring up tonight, and this is really pertaining to education, which many of you know that this is my field of expertise and years of experience. Just recently, Malala visited Canada, and she was actually very well received, and the education ministries of Canada welcomed her and then tweeted on Twitter, as well as perhaps posted on Facebook, I did not check, welcoming her to come teach in Canada as long as she took off her hijab. I was just absolutely floored and outraged that a politician, a dignitary, would say something like this to welcome, someone of high stature such as Malala, and then say, we'd love to have you, except you have to take your hijab off. And the fact that it's something that could just be easily said and not even thought about, I was just floored, because this is the time that we live in. We live in a time that people can say racist and bigoted things. People can infringe on, individuals' religious freedom, and think it's okay. And it's sad and unfortunate that Canada has taken this position to basically ban wearing religious garb. It's sad that it's following in the footsteps of, France, because this is not, who we are as a people in 2019. There should be the opportunity for people to be able to work and live freely, and being able to, have their religious beliefs recognized and embraced. And for this education ministry to take this so lightly, and to say this to, Malala, who's not even a Canadian, we welcome you as long as you take off your hijab to come teach. So, I felt it was important to raise this issue, and also take the moment to give gratitude to the fact that we live, in the United States of America, where religious freedom is one of the most important tenets. And I have to tell you, after seeing that article about to be told that she should take off her hijab, it made me think about when I first started teaching, actually, in the New York City public school system, how I was actually welcomed and embraced wearing hijab, not only by the administration, but also by my colleagues, by the students, by the parents. Nobody really blinked an eye about my religious expression. And of course, when people first met me for the first time, they were surprised, but as they got to know me and understand who I was and learned, about what I represented, the hijab just simply became invisible to them. And it was just another part of my body that they just simply accepted. And so, of course, this is not to say that, other women who are American Muslim have not experienced any bias or discrimination. That is a reality, and I would never, ever want to diminish the experiences of other people. But I've been fortunate that I haven't, faced anything of that sort in the workplace. And so that's why I felt like it was really important to acknowledge like where we are in the United States and the fact that we have this, privilege to be able to work freely, as well as, be able to worship freely. And so I felt that was important to share with you, considering what is happening globally in the world and why it's so important that we have these conversations. And we have these conversations not just for the sake of having them, but we also have to do things about them. And so I hope that that the Muslims in Canada are actually challenging this. I hope that they are taking a position, that they are building coalitions with their interfaith allies to challenge this policy that is basically saying to them, you're welcome here, but, please keep your religious faith at the door. Nobody should have to leave any part of them at the door. Every person should be teaching, working in their wholeness. And so I hope that Canadian Muslims, as well as their counterparts, see this as an infringement on religious freedom, and that they will push the envelope with their government to change this policy. Nothing happens overnight, and nothing comes easy, but what I've seen, and I've seen again and again, is when people persist and they are united, they are working in coalitions, they certainly can make a difference. And I hope that this will inspire Canadians to actually take on that responsibility and build those coalitions and work really aggressively to overturn this policy. So you may have, if you haven't already, I just published a blog that actually is titled My First Year of Teaching, Fouls and Fumbles. And the reason I decided to write this blog was because I came across some new teachers, and I remembered what it was like to be a new teacher. And I shared in this blog my experience of what it was like to be a new teacher. And for those of you who may be teachers or know people who are teachers, especially first-year teachers, I hope that you will read the blog and that you will engage in dialogue and share your experience. What was it like for you? What were the challenges? What were the achievements? What would you do differently, the next time around for the new coming school year? And then how can I support you and other educators support you as well? So I hope you'll catch it. It's actually on my website, bridgingculturesinc.com, and it's in the blog section, so be sure to read it. And there's actually there a picture of me in my younger days teaching. I had to dig it up, but it was really nice to find it. It just brought back a lot of great memories, most importantly memories of working with children and the joy of sitting there with them. So I don't know if anyone has any questions about the situation with Malala or about the camps. Happy to take any questions. And we're just going to continue the dialogue and keep pushing the envelope. This coming Saturday, I think it's Saturday, it's this coming Friday. There will be actually Lights for Liberty that's taking place at Foley Square. I posted it earlier in the week, but I will post it again. Again, this is standing in solidarity for immigrants, and standing in solidarity for all of those families who were separated at the border in Djibouti, Malaysia, for those who are of Yemeni background. So this Lights for Liberty is going to take place on Friday. Inshallah, I will be there. I hope many of you will also come out and join, because, you know, coming out collectively and being able to stand in solidarity with other people gives us all strength to overcome the challenges, and that's the only way that we are going to overcome these challenges that we are experiencing in our country. And we just need to make our voices heard, and do it in a united front with other people who care about the same issues. So inshallah, I will be there, and I hope that I will see many of you who will come out, inshallah, and do the same. And that's pretty much it. I think I've covered the topics that I wanted to cover tonight. And we'll continue the conversation. If you have any questions after this session, just feel free to post, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. So I'll see you all, inshallah, next week at 8 p.m. If there are topics that you may be interested in discussing, please feel free to direct message me, and we'll see. But these were the topics for this week: in education, the situation with Malala, and then what was happening at the southern border with these camps. And I will, just one more thing that I meant to mention earlier and I forgot. Sorry, I just went through a tunnel here. There has been a group of students actually in Michigan and Dearborn at a charter high school who actually graduated, and they posted a video. It's come to my attention. I am still right now looking into the situation, gathering some information to see what actually transpired, why these kids have not received their transcripts and their scholarships to go to college, as well as try to understand more about the speeches that they gave at their graduation that seem to have been identified on Chalkbeat as problematic for the school administration. So inshallah, once I have all my research done and I thoroughly understand the situation, I will definitely be weighing in. And our children deserve the very best. They deserve to be praised. They deserve to get scholarships. They deserve many things. And so as soon as I hear what the situation is and have all of the information, inshallah, I will post about it as well as weigh in about it, and I'm happy to discuss it next Monday in more detail as soon as I have all the information on it. So thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you, inshallah, God willing, Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, actually. So Eastern Time. Sorry, I don't know why I said Daylight Time. Eastern Time. So inshallah, see you then. Thank you so much for tuning in, those who did. And I'll talk to you soon, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.